everyone, it's Laura here, and today I am really excited to be part of the new Fun Stampers Journey release. FSJ will be releasing new products on the 10th of every month, so that's something to look out for. And today I decided to create 3 different cards featuring the new Kindness Matters kit and the baby farm animals. The Kindness Matters kit includes 4 different products as well as 4 different pre-kitted projects with instructions so that you can get creative right away. We have the Folk Blossom stamp. This is a mounted rubber stamp, so the stamping impression will be great every time, and it features this really lovely floral pattern. Next, we have the Kindness is Cool stamp set, which will work great on a variety of cards because it has a lot of different images and sentiments. This is also a mounted rubber stamp set, and the individual stamps are already cut out for you so that you can get creative right away. Next, we have the Sweet Birthday Wishes stamp set, which can be used for birthday cards, but actually the image with the girl and the floral image are pretty versatile, so you can use them on a variety of different cards. And this, like the other stamps in the kit, is a mounted rubber stamp set with the individual stamps already cut out. The 4th product in the kit is the Cane Weave stencil, which you can use to create some really beautiful backgrounds. And then for my 3rd card today, I decided to use the Baby Farm Animal stamp set, which is not part of the kit, but is part of the January 2020 release, and it's absolutely adorable. I just had to make a card with these cute little critters. These products are all available on the Spellbinder store, so make sure to check it out if you're interested. And now it's time to move on and start the tutorial for today. For my first card, I did some die cutting with the Cascading Hearts die set. I used both dies to create the panel that you see on screen, and then with the rectangle die, I also created the background for my card. I die cut everything out of some white cardstock because I wanted to do some ink blending using my True Color Fusion inks by FSJ. These are waterproof inks that have the properties of pigment inks but dry like dye inks and can be used both for ink blending and stamping. I started by blending my ink in the color Bubblegum over this entire panel with the hearts. I am using a light hand and circular motions to do my ink blending because I want to get a smooth application and also I don't want to bend the paper. Once I was done blending my bubblegum ink, I moved on and added a little bit of watermelon fusion. I'm not going to blend it over the entire panel or in a regular fashion, but I'm adding it here and there to create a little bit of interest. Next, I took the rectangle that I die cut with the larger die in the Cascading Hearts die set. This measures 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, so it is the size of the standard A2 card front, and I did some ink blending with my True Color Fusion ink in the color Cool Pool. And then I created a custom pattern paper effect using stamps from the Kindness is Cool stamp set, which is part of the Kindness Matters kit. I used the heart and this little image with the dots, and for a tone-on-tone effect, I did my stamping with the same Cool Pool ink that I used to blend my background. I used my FSJ craft glue to adhere the panel with the hearts to my card background, and then I could move on and start working on my images. I stamped this cute koala from the Kindness is Cool stamp set, and then I did some quick coloring using some warm gray markers for the koala and some pink markers for the heart. Because we have 3 cards to cover today, the coloring is sped up quite a bit compared to my usual videos, and also I will not be sharing any coloring for the rest of the cards because otherwise the video will be too long, but I still wanted to give you a little bit of a glimpse at how I colored these images. As I said, I used warm grays for the koala and I used 4 different markers, whereas for the heart I used 3 different shades of pink, and I tried to choose markers that would match as closely as possible with the colors that I have on my ink blended panel on my card front. I added my shading as if the light was coming from the top right of the screen, which means that the darker shadows will be on the left and lower portions of the images. Once I was done coloring, I went ahead and cut out all my images, and I also heat embossed my sentiment. It reads "Love Bigger" and is part of the Kindness is Cool stamp set, and I embossed it with wet embossing powder over some black cardstock. To add a little bit of extra interest and dimension, I decided to raise my images on some foam squares, and I also swapped around the position of the koala with respect to the heart so that the koala would stand on the front. As a last step, I adhered everything to an A2 card base that I created out of some white cardstock, and that finished off my first card for today. For my second card, I started by doing some die cutting with the rectangle die in the Cascading Hearts die set by FSJ, and then I decided to do some dry embossing using this embossing folder. This is called Birthday Bash, and I thought it was the perfect match for the Sweet Birthday Wishes stamp set, part of the Kindness Matters kit. So I sandwiched the paper in the folder, ran everything through my die cutting machine, and obtained this lovely embossed effect. I wanted to create a focal panel for my image, so I used the Folk Blossom stamp set and I stamped it on some white cardstock. To spice things up a little bit, I decided to go for an ombre stamped effect, so I'm going to use two different colors of my True Color Fusion inks and create a gradient that is darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. I used my True Color Fusion inks by FSJ in the colors Lemon Drop and Summer Days. And then, once I was done stamping, I die cut this panel with the Gilded Nested Rectangle dies by Spellbinders. Off camera, I did some stamping, coloring and fussy cutting of the images that create this lovely birthday cake. The set is the Sweet Birthday Wishes stamp set, which I remind you is included in the Kindness Matters kit. And then, using some liquid glue, I assembled my cake and I glued it onto the cake stand. I chose pinks and reds for the color palette of my cake because I felt they complemented nicely the orange and yellow shades that I have on my background. I also went ahead and created a sentiment banner, and you can see it on screen while I am gluing my card front to my card base. The greeting is also part of the Sweet Birthday Wishes stamp set and was stamped with Cranberry Bliss ink by FSJ. Next, I adhered the focal panel to my card front, and actually I adhered it upside down compared to what my plan was. I'll realize just before adhering the cake and I'll be able to turn it around. And to adhere both the cake and the sentiment banner, I decided to use some foam squares to add a little bit of dimension to this very simple design. As you saw, I turned the focal panel around, I adhered my cake to my card front, and that finished off card number 2. For my third and final card, I used the Baby Farm Animal stamp set, which is not part of the Kindness Matters kit, but is part of the January release by FSJ, and it's absolutely adorable. I started by creating the background for my card, and I'm doing some ink blending using my inks by FSJ. The plan was to create a scene card, so I blended some turbo teal at the top to create my sky, and then I blended some sweet pear at the bottom, and I'm leaving a faint area of white between the two where there is the transition between the colors. I decided to add a little bit of extra shine to this panel as well, and for that I used the Sparkle Silk by FSJ. This is a sparkly clear solution, and I am tapping the little brush that comes in the packaging over my card background to create these shiny little droplets, and then I put the panel aside to dry. Next, I created this fence using the garden fence die, also by FSJ, and I decided to quickly add some color to it as well by blending my inks in the colors Summer Days and Lemon Drop. I'm going for a gradient effect with the darker color, which is the Summer Days at the bottom of the fence and the Lemon Drop at the top. Once this was done, I went ahead and off camera I stamped, colored and cut out these adorable images from the Baby Farm Animals stamp set by FSJ. I also stamped the sentiment from the same stamp set on my sky background, and I have it slightly shifted towards the left of my design to create a little bit of interest. I could then adhere everything to the background of my scene. I have the fence, which is a little bit lower compared to the transition area between the sky and the grass. I have a few flowers here and there for some extra detail on the scene. And then I adhered the cow to the right portion of my card front, the sheep to the left, and lastly this cute little mouse between the two. As a last step, I adhered everything to an A2 card base, and that finished off my third and final card. And that's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I inspired you to create with the new FSJ release and the Kindness Matters kit. Make sure you visit the Spellbinders store and their website for more inspiration and tutorials featuring the new release. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and have a great day!